Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it succinctly intimated by the Honourable Prime Minister of the scaling back of some of the restrictions that have been in place, and also alluding to getting back scalable responses as we go along. On that note, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the general population of Fiji for adhering to those directives and making work easy for us. For those that have breached those directives, I hope it's a learning experience for us and we can move forward from here, better adhering to these regulations. We are seeing that light vegetation coming out of the thick woods, and that's where we want to head to, out of the woods. But we are not completely out of that. If you still have nothing to do out there, stay at home. With the lifting of restrictions on social gatherings, we'll be opening up the picnic areas where people can go to, 20 or less. In the Yangona drinking bubble, so to speak, maybe you can drink Yangona with your neighbors now without sharing the milos and cigarettes. Those are the things that come into play. That has given the confidence to government and the Ministry of Health in making those decisions, bringing us some form of uplifted restrictions now moving forward. So my plea, please follow whatever restrictions remain. Do you have any questions?
So Edwin from FPC News again. With the relaxing of certain restrictions, now in the past few days, as you've mentioned, we've seen a reduction in the number of arrests every night. But given that there is some relaxation happening, do you anticipate that people will try and take advantage of this and there could be a spike yet again in the arrests?
Yes, that's why we're calling for more responsibility. We will use our community policing to go out and spread the message. There's messaging that's coming out from the ministry and government as a whole. We need to be more responsible. Unfortunately, yesterday our figures spiked a bit because we picked up 10 people playing touch rugby. Without those 10 people doing that, we wouldn't have, it would have been 10 less. But it calls for responsibility. We're worried about that, but we need to talk about it, and we rely a lot on the media as well to disseminate that information, that people realize we're not out of the woods yet. Yeah, next question, please.
Commissioner, the key number is 20 people in Fiwa for social gatherings from Monday.
Yeah.
But as the Prime Minister has said, because you've talked about picnics, can you give us an idea of how this is going to work out? If police are going to be patrolling through a picnic spot?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Just groups of 20 or?
We'll be there advising you. We'll be there advising you. If the picnic space is crowded with hundreds of people, without any of that physical distancing or social distancing, then we'll have to ask people to clear out of the area, or we'll have to go back to government to review those things. It calls for responsibility. It's about you maybe and the extended family going out, keeping it 20 or less, spreading out a big enough mat that you can sit on in little groups. Those are the things that comes with that responsibility. I feel government has spoken a lot about it, about that physical distancing or social distancing. Like we said about the buses, if you are walking into a crowded bus, if you see it's crowded, don't get on that bus, get on the next bus. We can't be everywhere policing this. It calls for responsibility. Same in the picnic areas. If you come out to the Suvavou foreshore area there and it's crowded, please don't go and crowd up the areas more. Look for an alternative thing to do for your planned picnic day.
So the key thing is physical distancing. So if police are patrolling a particular, they go past a house, there's 20 people obviously drinking grog there. There's no physical distancing. What will be done? Will they be arrested, cautioned?
Yeah, all those things will come into play again. We'll have to do that. I'm tasked with enforcing that. But it calls for responsibility, like I said. If you're sitting, if you're one of those people sitting around, if the place is crowded, then obviously don't do it. Don't look to police alone to do these things. It calls for responsibility. And I'm thankful the greater part of the population has been responsible. And that's why I said at the beginning, I acknowledge that, and I'd like to reiterate again, my thanks to the general population of Fiji for being responsible and adhering to the directives that have been given by government. And we call on that responsibility to continue, and hopefully it rubs off to those that weren't so responsible. Thank you. Next question.
Commissioner, this question is with regards to communications, and in particular communications that lead to the kind of behavior that you would like, both the law enforcement and the Ministry of Health. I wonder, is there effort between your organization and the Ministry of Health and maybe the government's information department to look at ways that you can communicate the message better? I mean, it seems as if, I mean, you've admitted some days the arrests are very low and some days it spikes, and some days we're arresting 17-year-olds and other days 19-year-olds who are kissing at the seawall. Do you think that maybe there needs to be a better approach, a more innovative, creative approach on the part of the government with regards to communication that changes behavior?
I think they've been doing that. You pick up a newspaper, the print media, it's got it there. You watch television, it's got it there. And that's the other thing I was going to talk about later. Now that school, there'll be no school for until June, mid-June. It calls on parents, guardians to be more responsible. We are arresting more juveniles now. That responsibility, even to the families, as parents, we need to know where your children are. Now we've got rainy weather. We can't allow our children to just be anywhere. We've got to know where they are and advise them on these things. It's a difficult task that we're picking up juveniles now. And the first thing we ask, where's your parents? Where do you live? And that's the responsibility I'm talking about. It's a whole of nation approach. I think we've been drummed up with a lot of information that comes out in the various media platforms, social media. There's enough that's coming out. It's about people taking heed of this advice.
Commissioner, with the scaling back that's going to happen over the weekend gradually, will the police force be similarly scaling back its presence, or will you be maintaining your numbers out there?
No. For us in policing, it's not just about COVID. There's other social issues that we have to be aware of. People are out of jobs now that we have to be mindful of. There's the criminal front that we have to manage, and there are social issues that come out of this that we have to manage. You'll see our posture changing a bit. We'll still have snap checkpoints popping out here and there if we see people not adhering to things. You would have noticed we got joint operations out with the Land Transport Authority, and not only dealing with traffic issues, we've had significant arrests involving drug hauls in those operations as well. So we've got to look at that as well. I can't afford to let my police officers drink yangona now with relaxing of social gatherings. Police premises and all police premises, we're staying off yangona and alcohol. We've got a job to do, and in serving the people of Fiji, and we've got to do it in the right frame of mind. Hope that answers that. Thank you.
So just in terms of recent arrests, there have been some police officers who were also arrested. I just wanted to ask if the Fiji Police Force is also taking actions internally to address these police officers that have...
Yes, they'll be going home.
Commissioner, I just want to, you released a statement earlier today talking about that incident at the Lotoko Hospital, that you would let the Health Ministry deal with the matter. The question is, will police look at the non-healthcare workers?
No, I've said that. I've said that. We'll leave it with the Ministry of Health. You've got to understand our frontline health care workers that were there, the traditions of our people that were coming out, and for those few minutes, that celebratory mode went out of hand, and surely they realized and got it right. So we've left that to the Ministry of Health.
Did they break any law here? For example, the Public Health Act. Is there a criminal element to this apart from just disciplinary
I've said
investigation?
that statement. We'll leave it at that. Thank you. Any other questions? No. On behalf of the Honourable Minister for Health and Dr. Tunrabu, we thank you and may you have a blessed weekend. Vinaka.